Hey there folks, how you doing today? Welcome back to the channel. Please bear with any background rackets you might hear throughout this production. We are on location where life happens, and sometimes there's stuff going on right over there that interferes with what we're trying to do in here. Here on the table we have a nice looking pair of pistols in flat dark earth. We have a Smith & Wesson M&P series pistol, and we have a Glock pattern pistol over here on this side. We're going to be covering some interesting features and showing something that might be of interest to some of you folks here today. Going over some details that while many of you are probably well aware of them, some of you might not be. This is going to be fun, educational, and I'm going to try to keep it short. Starting here with my Glock 19X pistol, I'm going to go ahead and clear this pistol for you. Safe and empty weapon. The Glock 19X was originally designed as a submission for a military trial to replace the Beretta as the U.S. military service weapon. That never happened, but a lot of folks really liked the design. Glock made it available to the civilian market, and there you have it. It's a full-length frame with a compact length slide. You got a good grip and reduced muzzle flip. It's a great option. If I were going to battle tomorrow, this is the pistol I would carry with me. This one is adorned with a flashlight. We're not going to worry about that right now, but we are going to focus our attention right up here on top to the Crimson Trace RAD Pro that we have mounted on this pistol. Now this is where some of you might not be aware of what I'm fixing to cover, so hear me out. Glock never made the 19X with an optic cut or MOS ready. Basically what that means is if you wanted to be able to mount an optic on top of your Glock 19X or any of the other millions of Glock pistols that were produced before optic cuts became a thing a couple of years ago, you would have to make some modification to your firearms. Most commonly, people take the slide off of their pistol, they send it to a gunsmith shop that cuts the top of the slide, drills it, and taps it for a specific footprint for one of the many optics that are available on the market today. Now, while generally speaking that goes well, sometimes it could result in disaster if for whatever reason something was out of spec with the milling and your pistol that you already own that you sent in to have work done on now has a butchered slide. So while it is an option and most of the time it works out pretty good, you are rolling the dice to some degree, and it's also not a very inexpensive option. I know in this area, believe me, I've called and checked around, you could pay upwards of $150 to have your slide milled for one of these optics. So now that brings me back to what we have here. This is the Crimson Trace RAD Pro optic, and it is mounted to a Crimson Trace RAD dovetail mount that was made specifically for the Glock pistol. They also make one for the Smith & Wesson. We're going to cover that here in just a minute. So that brings us back around to where we're at with it today. As I mentioned before, this optic on the pistol is a Crimson Trace RAD Pro. Crimson Trace makes a full line of weapon accessories, from lights to lasers to red dots to rifle optics. If you weren't familiar with Crimson Trace's line of products, take a moment to listen to this word from our sponsor. If you are watching this, then you probably know that Crimson Trace has a long and reputable history producing quality laser products for the firearms industry, such as the LS250 laser saddle shown here on the Mossberg Shockwave. But did you know they now have a full line of quality accessories to include both red and green laser sights, tactical lights, electronic sights, and rifle scopes to rival other premium brands on the market today? From the novice outdoorsman to the tactical professional, Crimson Trace offers a wide range of budget-friendly to premium rifle scopes to meet your operational needs. All Crimson Trace products are backed by their no-hassle limited lifetime warranty. Check them out now and use promo code J10 to save 10% off your next purchase. Now welcome back. As I already showed you the optic mounted here on top of our Glock pistol, now I'm going to show you this here, which is the Crimson Trace RAD dovetail mount for the Smith & Wesson M&P series of pistols. This comes with a mount for a full-size pistol like this M&P 2.0. It will also fit your Shield or Shield Plus pistol. For the folks that are watching this production on Rumble, I'm going to show you step by step how to install that on top of our Smith & Wesson 2.0. And for the folks watching on YouTube, you probably know by now that YouTube has some weird rules when it comes to modifying anything related to these, so I'm just going to show you the before and after. But if you want to see the step-by-step, jump over to our Rumble channel. You should be there anyway. Check it out. It's worth it. Okay, and now tuning back in with the folks that are watching on YouTube, there you have it. We have the Crimson Trace RAD Pro mounted on top of the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. The mount was real straightforward, actually a little easier to install than the Glock one was, and seems to be very sturdy, very robust, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't hold up well. We will be taking this out to the range in the very near future. It's storming bad out there today, folks, so it won't be today, but I will get you a complete range session review in the near future on this with a follow-up on how well it holds up. Now, with that being said, we haven't covered the cost of these optics plates. What would it cost you to mount one of these on your Smith & Wesson M&P or Glock pattern pistol? They're about 30 bucks, and if you go over to Crimson Trace's website and you use my promo code, you could save 10% on that. So compared to 150 bucks to get a slide milled, which might work, this could be a viable option for a lot of folks out there. One other thing I wanted to cover with you is I did try mounting the micro optic on top of the Taurus GX4. Taurus GX4s do have Glock pattern sights, but as you'll notice here on the back, I'll put up a close-up so you can see, the optic sticks off the back of the pistol a little bit. There's very little slide material behind the rear of that Dovetail. Aesthetics aside, even though I think that looks kind of dumb, I'm afraid it's going to break. Under recoil with the back end of that unsupported, I think there's a potential that it could flex and snap that little piece of metal off the back of the slide. I'm going to say probably not a good idea. If you want to try it, by all means, just know it does fit. Whether or not it will work or last, it's not what it was designed for, so buyer beware. Take care.